So I've got 4 analog joysticks, they're PSP joysticks connected to my Raspberry Pi. They're connected via an analog to digital converter, which is an MCP 3008, so it's an 8-channel device. So that gives me 2 channels per for each joystick, the X and Y axis, and that takes up all the channels on the converter. And I've also got the Xbox chat pad connected as well, and I'll show you how to use these joysticks in MAME. So on the right, I've got a terminal window connected to a secure shell to the Raspberry Pi, and in there, if you've got the joystick.config file already there, then you need to remove it first. If you just installed the software, it's probably not there, but it's worth checking to make sure it's not there, because without that file, when you first start it up, it will go into the calibration mode. So if I go into calibration mode, and it shows all the joysticks, and they're wiggling around at the minute because they're not calibrated. So if I go to this joystick first, joystick 2, it's showing, so you can see it rotating around there as I rotate the joystick to calibrate it. This one's joystick 1. This one is joystick 4. And this one's joystick 3. Okay, so they're not brilliantly, these PSP joysticks aren't brilliantly accurate, but you can use a regular joystick as well. Because they're so small, the center of them, it doesn't necessarily always center back again. So if you flick it, it'll go back to the center. But oh yeah, and when you start up the driver in calibration mode, you need to have all the joysticks centered then, because it takes that point as being the center of the joystick, and then as you rotate them, the joysticks, it gets the center, it gets the axis full movement values. So press Ctrl C to come out of that. That saves the joystick.cal file. So if I go back in to the driver, this time it sees the cal file and it starts it up, and so it's initialized the chat pad as well. So in my other window, I've got a video capture of the composite output of the Raspberry Pi, and in there I can start up MAME to show a game, and you need the minus JT argument as being 5, so it picks up the joysticks, and then if I hit enter, it goes into the game. So when I hit tab, it goes into the configuration, and if I go into input general, I'll go into controller 5 because I haven't got that configured currently, and if I select one of the items and move the joystick to the left, so at the minute, there it picked up 2 axes on the joystick, because it's so small it's hard to get just like one axis movement, so unfortunately you have to do this potentially a couple of times. So if you hit enter and then escape, it clears what's in that element. It takes just a couple of times to hopefully get it right. So yeah, I've got one axis Z, so joystick 2, axis 2. I'll just show another joystick as well, just to prove that you can use more than one joystick. Again, it's picked up both axes. I'll clear that. So there's joystick 3, axis 1. So with MAME you can have up to 4 players in a 4-player game. Like, I don't know if I can't remember if some of the 4-player games actually work on there, but if they are, or you can have a 2-player game, or if 1-player games require more than one joystick, then you can use that as well. Or if you've got like a flight sim, you could use like rudder controls, and you could use axis on another joystick for accelerator and brake. But yeah, so it gives you up to 4 joysticks on your Raspberry Pi.